What's good, YouTube? My name's Coach, and in today's video we're going to be going over the deck that I had for pre-release yesterday. And the purpose of this video is for you to watch this and have an understanding of how you may want to build your pre-release deck, or when you're going to draft you can figure out what type of cards you're looking to draft when you play draft. This is from the newest set, Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. I did purchase this box here that we're going to be opening at some point in the future. However, for now, I'm just going to leave this off to the side. And we're going to talk about this draft deck. So, removal. You know, whenever you're playing draft, I find that removal is incredibly important. And, you know, whenever I'm building a draft deck, I almost always take all of the removal that I build or that I find and I set it off to the side. And then based on the removal that I have, then I will basically build the deck around the removal, just because removal is so important. And inside this deck, we're gonna go over the removal first. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces of removal. So the first card that we have here is a Twisted Embrace. This gives an enchanted creature +1/+1 that you control, and then you can use it to destroy target artifact destroy a target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls. This is a lethal exploit. Target creature gets -2/-2. This is a Long Reach of the Night. This one says each opponent sacrifices a creature unless they discard a card. This actually turns into a creature, mind you. It's pretty strong. This is a Short Circuit. I don't know if this is necessarily removal, but this just makes a creature weaker. Used it one time to save one of my own creatures. You have a Suit Up here. Gives a target creature base power and toughness 4 or 5, and you draw a card. This card is so good. I had 2 of them. And then we have Awakened Awareness. This can either turn into a pump spell, or this can basically turn into making your opponent's creature a 1/1, essentially. This card is pretty good here. It's very versatile, I would say. And like I mentioned about these things transforming, this actually transforms into a creature here with Menace that says whenever it attacks, it gets +X/+0 for the number of creature cards in defending players' graveyards. So just whenever you're drafting or you're playing, these enchantments that turn into creatures are telling you the amount of value that you get from them is actually pretty powerful. So some of the card draw spells that I had over here were Thirst for Knowledge, draw 3 cards, discard 2. Modern Age, draw a card, then discard a card. This also turns into a 2/3 flyer. I was lucky enough to have 2 of them. I have a Reckoner Bankbuster. This is a vehicle that you can tap for 2 to remove a charge counter from it and draw a card, essentially. This enters the battlefield with 3 charge counters. And then I got 2 of these Kiki cards over here. So basically it creates a 2/2 token that attacks and creates a treasure token. You can discard 2 cards to draw 2 cards, and then you exile this and turns it into a creature. But look at this. Look at this, guys. Look at this card. This card, you pay 1 mana and you create a token that's a copy of target non-legendary creature. And this is a non-legendary, so I could have 2. This card is so strong. This card right here is so strong, I'm telling you. If you have this, I would seriously consider building around this. This card is incredibly fun. And then finally we got the creatures over here. Yo, this card right here is pretty good. It gets whenever a creature attacks, it gets +2/+0 until the end of turn. Reconfigure, just as a mechanic, is just strong, man. There's no other way to put it. If you draft this card, you see this card inside your pre-release, play this card. If you're gonna play black, play this card. It's really strong. Then we have the Unstoppable Ogre. Mind you, like we were talking about earlier with the Kiki Jiki makes copies of creatures. and the ogre enters the battlefield and says a creature can't block. So essentially what you end up doing is you just end up creating 4/1s with haste over and over again that forces your opponent's creatures not to be able to block. So it's a nice little combo. We have an Inkrise Infiltrator, just a flyer that you can pump. Dude, this Ronin right here, a 2 mana, 1/3. First of all, 1/3 means this is just a pretty decent blocker earlier on in the game, just because creatures are generally attacking for 2 damage. So this can just block. And more importantly, when this attacks alone, you can discard a card, and if you do, draw a card. Just for red to be able to have a way to draw cards consistently like that earlier on in the game, this is just a really powerful card. And when I draft, I would draft this card. This card is incredibly good. This is a Tawashi Song Shaper. It says whenever another artifact enters the battlefield under your control, this gets +1/+0 until the end of turn. I don't have too many artifacts. It's just a 2 mana 2/2 that could attack for 3 on turn 3. We have a Moon Circuit Hacker. So whenever this deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card unless this hacker enters the battlefield this turn. So just another one of those cards that just deals damage and you draw cards. And then we got another one of those Ronins. This familiar, guys, Ward 2 is really strong and limited. This is basically hexproof. You reconfigure for 4 so this can turn into an equipment. However, it gives a creature +2/+1 and more importantly Ward 2. And if that creature that this is equipped to goes away or is removed, this just re-enters the battlefield as a creature. This card is pretty good. Then this is the promo card that I got. I got a Nashi Moon Sage of Scion. I'm definitely going to be building a commander deck with this. It says ninjutsu for 4. Whenever it deals damage to a player, exile the top card of each player's library. Until the end of turn, you may play one of those cards. If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its mana cost rather than paying its mana cost. Such a good card. There's only really one game where I played where it was actually dealing damage and attacking, and it definitely swings the game in your favor. And then the last card that we have in the entire deck was Hiritsugu, Devouring Chaos. You can pay a black to sacrifice this creature, discard 2. I actually have a Dech Tech. I'm going to link that like right here, so you may watch the Dech Tech if you wish. But this card just giving you the ability to be able to exile a top card of your library, and then you play that card this turn, just for 3 mana. And more importantly, you deal damage equal to the card's mana value to any target, is just a really powerful way to get extra lands into play. And it's just a powerful way to just remove your opponent's creatures with cards that have nothing to do with removal. So, strong card. So like I mentioned before, this was my pre-release deck. I was extremely lucky that all of my rares were basically the same color, so I got to play all of my rares. And yeah, the best card, the MVP for the deck, I would say is this. If you're gonna play red and you have this card, play this card. I'm telling you, it's incredible. And what else? This is also incredible as well. This Chainflail Centipede, this card is monstrous. Okay, so that's gonna be that. I'm just gonna stop this video now. Always remember that if you subscribe, like, and more importantly comment, I'm aware that you exist, so that you can enter a giveaway in the future where I give away commander cards. And I think this week's giveaway, let me just, well, hold up. This week's giveaway I think is going to be, because I pulled, yeah, there it is. Pulled a foil Satoru Umezawa actually, and then I bought the box and then they gave me the promo version, which I like a lot. So I think that I'm going to be giving away this copy of Satoru Umezawa that's foil. Okay, so if you comment on any one of the videos on my channel, I'll be aware that you exist, and then you'll enter for a chance to win this card. Okay, next week. All right, hope you have an amazing day. Always remember, eat healthy. Okay, work out every single day. Most importantly, you gotta believe in yourself, right? Peace.